Good morning, everybody. We have 2 people viewing. My goodness, that's nice. Whoever you guys are, welcome. I don't see you in the comment section for whatever reason, although I know that StreamYard has been having some issues lately. But if you're there in the chat, hello. My name is Michael Oden. I am the founder of Nine Realms Publishing and writer of books such as Elysian Fields, The Embrace, and most recently SPQR's Bizarre Adventure, which, speaking of, we have, let me share the screen real quick. We have closed out In Demand, but Indiegogo still has us live. They could close us down at any point in time. We're closing in on 10,400. And we still have these 2 Dean James original art pieces, which I'm keeping actually at the 33% off for our Father's Day sale. So if you know anybody that likes original art, this is a fantastic deal. You get an original page of Dean James art plus a first print of the book, and it's only for $200. And we don't know how much longer that's going to be up. So could be taken down today, could be taken down tomorrow. Just a matter. That being said, why we're here. We've got Frog G in the chat posting up the links. Frog G is saying, you do your impromptu ranting. Blah, I'll do my impromptu shilling. We got Genuine Comics hanging out in the chat. Odin, what's up, Dave? And we've got Aardvark in the chat. Ding dong diddly. Thank you guys so much for coming to help out. There might be an occasional dog barking in the background. Yeah, the neighbor's dog's out, and he is having fun talking to all the other pups in the neighborhood. But anyways, point is last week, or maybe it was the week before, I can't remember. Time kind of just blends together at this point. But a while ago, I did a impromptu rant on history and what it means. And I'm going to do more of those history talks because that video itself has actually done pretty well for one of my videos that's like not me streaming video games or posting up a clip from a favorite show. But today I am going to address something that I think should be talked about. And what spurred this is last night, a certain person, it came to my attention, a certain person came forward about some past behaviors, and he's been getting a lot of criticism for it. So this person is named Warden Wayne. And before we talk about what he said, Warden Wayne, the significance of him is there's a fan film in production called Spider-Man Lotus. I'm going to play the trailer here in a second. So this will probably prevent this video from ever getting monetized. I don't know. It's a fan project, so who knows? And I hope that the owner of that content is fine with me sharing it on here. It's an independent fan film that crowdfunded on Indiegogo a while ago called Spider-Man Lotus. And it is a movie that takes a lot of inspiration from some of my favorite Spider-Man stories. And Warden plays Spider-Man in the movie, in this fan film. And so what we're going to do real quick is I am going to play the trailer here. Let me make sure that we've got this. Yep. So I'm going to full screen it and we're going to play. Oh, hold on. I apologize. It's muted on the video. So let's do that.
Come lay me down Take this crown and leave me.
Don't think of this as a goodbye tape. Think of it more as a checking in tape.
What's going on?
So here I am,
There's something wrong.
just checking in to say hi.
Been all so long, but it happened all before.
And that I miss you. I miss you, Gwen. Whoever he thinks I am, I'm not. You've seen the headlines. Figure it out.
That little boy in there has looked up to you his entire life. You are his hero. So please, give him something to believe in. We all lost something. But I think we gained something too.
I will always be Spider-Man. Not because I want to, but because I have to. I love you, Gwen Stacy.
Spider-Man.
All right. So that was the trailer for Spider-Man Lotus. We already seen some love in the chat there from Dave Brink. And yeah, no, it was a good line. The trailer is very well done. I supported the project a while ago, very shortly after that trailer came out, because I would like to see it. But anyways, so Warden Wayne plays Peter Parker in that. As you can see, anyone that's a big Spider-Man fan will recognize a lot of where this is coming from is from Spider-Man Blue, which was done by Jeff Loeb and the very recently late Tim Sale, which is one of my favorite Spider-Man stories, and like the way that Peter even looks in there and just like his normal attire when he's hanging with Gwen is like right from that book. Like you can actually find the panels that it's inspired from. It's very well done. So what has Warden Wayne done to get on this radar? Well, let's take a look. So, about, what was it, a week ago, June 18th? Okay, so two days ago, rather, Warden posted up, I've been wanting to come forward about this for a long time. Please read. Hello, everyone. I've decided to come out in regards to certain things from my past. I've always thought that it was better to be above reproach and come forward honestly about mistakes I made when I was younger. This is very hard to say, and I feel gross, but I'm coming clean. Years ago, when I was in high school, I used to say terrible things. I used offensive language, often homophobic or racially insensitive, casually or in jokes. I am sorry and I am ashamed. I was raised in a homeschool conservative environment in a small town in Arkansas, where I had to sneak around on other iPads and computers to use social media. My family has always been associated with groups such as Duggars, and those values were subsequently pushed onto me. I didn't get my own cell phone until I was 18. I was in a bubble where I wasn't aware of how serious it was for me to say these things or these words. My ideas of right and wrong were skewed. My friend group at the time encouraged and perpetuated these habits. All of it quickly became a part of my vocabulary because of the lifestyle around me, and I didn't want to be excluded, and I'm embarrassed to say so. I had convinced myself it wasn't wrong for me to say because of the justification I was constantly persuaded to believe, and I was never held accountable for it. The groups I associated with online were not good people, but I wanted to fit in and have friends. So I aligned myself and tried to act in ways they'd approve of, which included some offensive things for the sake of reaction or making ignorant jokes. I was an immature kid with too much time and no sense of integrity. I was stupid. There was even a time when I made an account solely dedicated to hating on Eunice, who is now one of my best friends. He knows about that account now and the things I used to say about him, but he forgave me because of how much I've worked to change my habits of the past 4+ years. I'm embarrassed and sad at who I was, and I'm sorry to anyone I may have hurt years ago or to anyone I may hurt now by revealing this information. When I was finally able to leave the bubble I was in and found people with a more stable sense of morality, I was able to be told the things that I said were wrong, and I learned and I pushed to change. But regardless of any of this, I should have known better. And I spend every day wishing I hadn't been a terrible person when I was younger. But I can't change the past. All I can do is take responsibility and own up to my incredible shortcomings and continue trying to be a better person. I hope you all can forgive me. I'm sorry. All right. So, Warren had been involved with some pretty divisive organizations, to say the least, and said a lot of things that were fairly off color online. And so what this has done is this got brought to my attention because last night I saw a Twitter profile I don't think I follow, but is within the span, like within the scope. We got Dark Gift joining us. What's up, peeps? Hello, Anthony. Welcome. We're talking about the this Warren Wayne situation with him coming forward about previous quote unquote racist and homophobic behavior. Not to to downplay it, but I mean, he was a stupid. Yes, and this is yeah. Well, and this is the whole thing. Is it goes a bit beyond jokes. If the things that he said got kind of passed around online, they are not good. Even if you were trying to make it a quote unquote joke, they're very. While I'm certainly against PC affecting too much of comedy, there's also a line where the jokes aren't meant to be funny so much as attack people. And there is a line with that in comedy. Now, the important thing here, though, to me, is that last night I saw a lot of people posting, Spider-Man Lotus is just going to forever be remembered as the film with a racist Spider-Man. Now, this is where I kind of have issue with. Last week I talked about history and what history is. And it's all about inquiry, right? And so I saw that they had posted this, and I went and I did my inquiries, because history, and this would count as thus, does not take place in a vacuum. So it's important to get context. And what we have here is we have a person who has looked back at the things that they did in the past, feels remorse about it, and is, in fact, making an act of genuine contrition in hopes to be forgiven for what he sees as past transgressions. And every single one of us here got into comics because of these heroes, right? Like every single one of us read a Superman comic or a Spider-Man comic that really resonated with us. And obviously it's not limited to just those two. I'm just using them because, especially for this topic of discussion, it's very important. And genuine comics has simplified what I'm about to talk about. And this is what is, to me, part of the big problem of things like cancel culture. Got Michael Breyer joining us in the chat. Hey, what's up, man? Sorry, I forgot to send you the link to this. I got it. I got it completely set up and all the things I wanted to share ready. But the point is that there's a reason why characters like Superman and why characters like Spider-Man they have like no kill rules, right? The reason is that even the darkest parts of humanity, there is a untapped light in all of us, a potential for good. And part of that is looking back and acknowledging the bad that we've done, coming to terms with it, and trying to move forward and leave that bad behind by dedicating ourselves to being better people and what have you. So really what this becomes about, and cancel culture is a big part of this, is when we spend all this time looking for anything that a person might have said or done in their past to hold them accountable for who they are in the present, I feel like that's very disingenuous. And as fans of this medium where we have these heroes that are about redemption, really, they're all about trying to guide humanity to a better path, a path of light. It feels very disingenuous. And so, like, to kind of illustrate that point, I've brought up, I have 2 pages from 2 separate comics, 2 different characters. One of which is Spider-Man, obviously, and the other one's Superman. That really illustrate this point. So first, we're going to take a look at this Superman page. All right. Right. Because this is the archetype for the modern superhero, right? Like Superman is the origin point for all of this. So let's take a look at this. This comes from a short story from the DC Comics holiday special that happened a few years ago. While Rebirth was going on. So we've got this whole thing, and this guy that Superman has apprehended just tried to rob a bank, and Superman stopped him, and he asked him, "Where'd you get this?" He says, "I built it. You need to understand. I was desperate. I lost my place. All I had was my garage and my tools. My wife is gonna leave me and take our kid. I just want to. I'm sorry, you built this in your garage? I mean, yeah, the guys at the lab all said I was crazy. You built a jetpack in your garage, and your first thought was I should use this to commit a crime? Well, when you put it that way, what's your record before this? Clean. You can check. I'm Marvin Haskins." It's like, "Okay, Marvin, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you down there to the police. You're going to have to stand trial. This was your choice. But I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to hide it. And when I hear you're getting out, I'm going to give it back, and then you're going to patent it and make some real money. You made a bad decision today, but you're clearly a genius, and this technology could help people." Really? Thank God. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you so much. It's okay. We all make mistakes. This right here. It's okay, man. We all make mistakes. This is what superheroes are supposed to be about. And so the fact that we have a kid who's like, I think Warren is 22, I think, who was able to reflect upon past actions, look at the things that he did, look at the things that he said, and on the internet, no less, a place where it's you have a certain level of anonymity on the internet where you can pretty much get away with most things. So the fact that this guy took it upon himself to look at those things, see them as wrong, and then lay them bare for the world and say, I'm human, I've made a mistake, and I'm asking for your forgiveness, is what these characters try to achieve on a daily basis. So why on earth are we trying to label him as something that he's not and try and tear this guy down for having integrity? Really quick, as a pause, we've got some more people coming in on the chat. We got Finatra. Hello, Finatra. We got Keely Chow. We got a stank raid going on, and Kate Orlando has joined us as well. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. And so to answer what's going on, we're taking a look at Warren Wayne, who is the actor of playing Peter Parker in the upcoming fan film Spider-Man Lotus, who recently, as of like 2 days ago, made a public statement acknowledging past behaviors that he had, where he made lots of offensive comments and remarks through social media towards specific groups of people. And he is he is coming forward to effectively acknowledge those mistakes, that he's not that person anymore, and he's asking for forgiveness and a chance to show the world that he's a better person. And we've got some more we got some more people in the chat. We've got Admiral Wackass has joined us. Thanks so much, Admiral Wackass. We've got JV. We don't care. We were just told to be here. Thanks for being here. We've got Perth Comics coming in. He's telling me to entertain him. Well, I hope that you get entertained a little bit at least. Chris Owery says that kid got shafted. Yeah, no, I'd agree. I mean, he hasn't. I don't think he's been removed from the project. It's a small production fan film. I think that they're kind of tied to that regardless. They've shot so much of the movie already, and they've already had to push back the release date once because they hit a stretch goal that added like 2 fight scenes to the movie, and really upped their what they were trying to do with this to a whole other level. Hold on. We got thanks so much for Natra saying back SPQR's Bizarre Adventure. And we've got Smirk Galen asking for advice. How much is too much to not pay your artist? Always pay your artist. Matthew Fowler's in the chat. Hello, Matthew Fowler. Welcome. We got D-Wags. Man, everyone's coming in. I've already been going for about a little under a half hour. But yeah, so as I said, this is all about, at what point do we become beyond redemption, to where, despite the values that these characters that we grew up with practice and preach, when does it come a point where we are no longer a part of that? Because this kid acknowledges what he did is wrong, came forward publicly and acknowledged those mistakes. Let's see. Just not sure why they bothered with Spider-Man and deal with all the legal issues. They could have made their own superhero. So fan films are actually a really interesting thing. Like I've been looking a lot into this, but effectively the way that fan films work is that so long as you aren't turning a profit on them, and you're effectively just paying for base level Uh, yeah, like so long as you're just paying for like base level production costs and distribution costs and what have you, and you're not really turning a profit on anything, you're fine. So long as you don't take ownership of the characters and what have you. So yeah, we've got Finatra saying hail the fudging chat. Yes, hello. Dark Gift Comics says, so, oh, wait, so the kid is 22. How old was when he made these comics? 16? Lesson learned, live and let live. Exactly. I think he said that he was 17 when he made these. The point is that especially when you like read the comments that were put up, I'm not going to put them up on the screen because I don't feel like it's worth it. You can tell that they're written by a stupid teenager. Like this isn't who this guy is. And we got Aardvark here's like, yeah, that's the problem. You aren't turning a profit on them when you could be if you had your own hero. It's like 100%. But at the end of the day, that's the whole deal, right? Is like this is a passion product. This is them trying to make their Spider-Man story. And I understand, yeah, well, you can make the argument, well, they should try and create their own character. And absolutely. Hopefully they get to do that at some point. Hopefully they see the value in that. But I also don't think that it's any bit wrong, especially considering most of the people involved with the film are under the age of like 25, 26. Like they're young. This is a fantastic first step, and the director I think is like 19 years old. So good on them for showcasing this kind of innovation and dedication and love towards these characters, towards these stories. I seriously applaud them. Like creating your own characters, creating your own universe, it's daunting. Any one of us that's a creator knows this. And for like an 18-year-old, an 18, 19-year-old to direct and write that kind of script with that much raw emotion and power in just a trailer, that's impressive. Dark Gift points out another good point. A lot of people use fan films as resumes, acting. Yeah, no, absolutely. And Michael Byers is absolutely right. Also, this fan film looks better than what Bat in the Sun has been doing, so I'm excited. Yeah, that's a very low bar. I used to love Bat in the Sun, but dying is easy felt like such a waste of my money. But anyways, back to the matter at hand. So we have the Superman page. So I'm going to stop sharing that because the other big thing here is that this guy's playing Spider-Man, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, if there is ever a poster child hero of trying to make up for past mistakes, you really can't get a more on-the-nose character than Spider-Man. So here's this fantastic scene from Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run between Spider-Man and Franklin Richards. That's been viral for a long time. This comic came out a while ago. This is, I think, right before his Future Foundation run. And it's right after Johnny has died. And so Franklin tells him, like, I think I could have stopped Uncle Johnny from dying. And Spider-Man reassures him, like, well, I'll promise I'll keep it to myself. Can I tell you a secret? And he says, I know I could have stopped my uncle from dying. He says, really? Why didn't you? Because I was young, because I didn't understand how important every single decision we make is. Because I had to learn that when you have gifts like ours, you don't think about yourself first. You think about how lucky you are to have them and how much other people need them. It's what my uncle would have wanted from me, and it's what your Uncle Johnny would want from you. All right? So going back, I can do 20 push-ups. I'm actually going to be doing, after this, I'm going to be doing a 5K bike ride. I've been doing those every day now. Got got Chris Ari saying, anyone watch Mr. H's short movie? It's pretty decent. I'll have to go take a look. This page always makes me tear up. Yeah, no, it's a very emotionally charged page. But the fact of the matter is like, even in that, what is Spider-Man talking about? He's talking about obviously you got the death of Uncle Ben, but what that comes down to is exactly what this kid's trying to do. He didn't realize the effect that those decisions, those actions had on the world around him because he was a stupid kid. He was a stupid kid and he's grown. And there's a lot of growth that can happen that happens between the ages of 17 and 22. There's a lot of it. So trying to hold this kid accountable for that and try and treat it like this is who this person is now. But then also trying to say, well, I'm a big fan of superheroes. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of Superman. I'm a big fan of all of these characters. All of those characters would have looked at what that kid did and given him a pat on the back. Because it takes courage. It takes courage to put something out there like this to the mob of Twitter. Because you know what that's going to bring in. You know how people are going to react. Because that's the era that we live in. And so despite knowing all the venom he was going to receive, he had the courage to make this post, address his prior issues, address the person he was years ago, and that he's moved forward. And yet you've got people condemning him for that. I think one of the replies I even saw was, I can't accept this apology because I'm white. What the fuck does that have anything to do with it? Pardon my French. What does that have to do with any of it? You can't level with this person on a human level? You can't understand him on a human level that he might have been in a situation where he didn't know better? One of the big things that you learn when you're looking at things in history is values are not universal. Just because one thing is one way somewhere doesn't mean that it's going to be the same way in another area of the globe or even area of your country. There are different cultures in every single area, and every single one of them has their own societal standards and what's conceived as right and wrong. And that's not to make any single one of them more right or wrong than the others, but it's part of how the world is. And, you know, if I could, I would go and support this kid even more than I already have, but I can't. So I'm hoping that this video will at least do some of that. I'm sure I'll get some people in the comments from time to time, or even commenting on my Twitter, and have people call me an apologist or something like that. But this isn't about making him an apologist. This is about showcasing what the stories that we read were meant to inspire in the first place. And I know that, you know, Genuine Comics is like you're here to explain that 1 + 1 = 2, but that's the world we live in now, I suppose. Well, that's exactly the point. Is because for so many people, just because you said something once a long time ago, that makes you who you were. And, you know, to be clear, you know, Darkiff says leftists can't human well. I don't even think that it's just like it's not just leftists. It's crazy people on the internet. It doesn't matter where they fall on the political spectrum. I mean, look at what happened with James Gunn. Everything that happened with James Gunn, where they were pulling out like Twitter posts and everything like that, all of that stuff that was put out was put out by right-wing people. These are just what happens when you have assholes on the internet with way too much time on their hands. They, every single one of them becomes invested in trying to destroy somebody that they don't agree with. And it doesn't matter if you're on the left side of the spectrum or the right. Assholes are assholes. And that's what this really comes down to. Is assholes on the internet, if they don't agree with what you're saying, they are going to do everything they can to muckrake you. And that is what it is. But, again, kudos to Warren Wayne for having the integrity to do the right thing. Which is, I guess that's really the definition of integrity, isn't it? Is doing the right thing no matter what. Good on him for his integrity. It saddens me that people are using this as a way to try and tear down a passion project that, he's not the only part of. Oh, by the way, you've got a writer-director that's, up and coming. You've got several other supporting castmates. You've got all of these people that are working on this project together. He's not the only person involved with this project. So you're not just hurting him, you're hurting the people that, worked their asses off on getting this film together. And I really hope that it doesn't cause a whole bunch of refund requests. And I'm sure that it probably has. I guess I could go look. I don't know about that. In the end, James Gunn got his job back. This Wayne kid is never going to work in his chosen career ever again. Maybe not. We'll see. There are people in this in that industry that are actually coming out to defend him because they understand what personal growth is. At the end of the day, that's what this is about, is a kid showcasing personal growth and putting that out in front of everybody rather than running away from it. There was a comment that was put up there that was like, he could have very easily just denied that these things were real, said that they were photoshopped and faked, and just hid behind the anonymity of the internet. Never worry about it again. And he probably could have gotten away with it. He's small enough scale. I don't know how exactly true that is, but there's definitely a layer of it. It's one of those things where he could have run from this, but instead he faced it head on. He addressed the person he was before. That's not who he is now. And he decided to move forward and try and move in a positive direction. And so if anything, that should get him applauded. And if anything, every single person that has talked that has been being like, oh, well, this is just going to be racist Spider-Man. If anything, all of those people should be going in and saying, this guy embodies what Spider-Man is trying to be about. And I'm sure that's going to get clipped and turned into various different ways by people that don't agree with what I'm saying. But Spider-Man was a kid who made a mistake that lost him the closest thing to a dad he ever had. And he spent his entire career trying to live up to that mistake, to redeem that mistake, to make the world a place that Uncle Ben would be proud of, and to do it through his own actions, to make up for the one transgression that he made that lost him this important pillar in his life. If this kid doesn't embody the Peter Parker journey and recognizing his own screw-ups, maybe not to the same degree, but by acknowledging his screw-ups and deciding that he wants to be a better person, doesn't that embody the whole with great power comes great responsibility? Isn't that the whole point? That we are not beyond redemption even in our darkest moments, that we can acknowledge what we've done and who we are in the past isn't what necessarily defines us. It's how we evaluate those wrongdoings and try to move forward and try and be better people, because no one's perfect. We all stumble, we all fall. This kid stumbled. He stumbled and he fell early. But he got out there and he started to become aware of the things that he said, things that he did that were not morally right, and it disgusts him to look back at it. But all he can do is move forward, as he says. All he can do is move forward and try to be a better person. And if that's not something that makes him worthy of the role of Spider-Man and worthy of praise, I don't know what is. Because we have people that fake that crap all the time. And, I don't know this guy. I don't know Warren personally. But so, I'm not there. I can't, see his everyday actions. But this does come off as genuine. This doesn't come off as your standard, oh, well, that's different than who I am now. I now give millions of dollars to charity and this, that, that. It's not your standard thing. He's talked with people. He's gotten to understand what he said and why it's wrong and how it affects people negatively. And he's trying to move forward. So the question is at what point are we beyond our capacity to change for the better? And I don't think that this kid's had it. There's certainly people that are out there right now that have been doing a lot of crap lately that is ruinous to themselves and ruinous to the people around them, and we're never going to get any bit of remorse from them. But even from them, if they came out and they showcased that they genuinely understood why they screwed up, how they screwed up, and wanted to be better, I'd hope that the world would I don't know if congratulate them, but give them a chance to showcase that they are ready to do that. Maybe not in today's society where everyone's willing to just search your tweet history or Facebook history and find the worst parts about what you said 10, 15 years ago when you didn't really know any better, or you were a completely different person because of different contextual situations of how you were living and what mental place you were in your life. And that's not to excuse those past actions either, by the way. When you do something wrong, you do something wrong. Like the Superman families. That's part of it, is facing the wrongdoings of your past. But it's also about moving past them and becoming a positive force. And you can't do that unless you acknowledge it, which this kid seems to have done. So, we're reaching up on 45 minutes. I'll go take a look through the chat, see if anything. So, Dark Gift. Oh, yeah, no, let's start here. Genuine Comics, the same people will defend Amber Heard all day long, so I don't think we should take them seriously. It's not about taking them seriously. It really isn't, because I don't take these people seriously. It's the same thing that when I did my like history rant like last week. I don't take any of these people seriously. My issue isn't them. It's the people out there that will take those people seriously and that will spread this like this kid is beyond redemption, or that history is somehow bigoted because it's not his or her story. That's not my point. There's a great scene in this movie, Thank You for Smoking. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, where the main character is explaining to his kid what he does for a living, and he's talking about the like having an argument with his kid over the favor over the what best flavor of ice cream is. And at the end, he's like, well, I say that why are we limiting it to 2 flavors? I need all of the flavors and this, that, the other. And his kid goes, but that's not what we're talking about. He's like, that doesn't matter. I'm not here to convince you of everything. I'm after them, and starts pointing out to all the other people. And that's really what the heart of this is, and I could just be some voice shouting into an abyss, and I probably am. I don't have the biggest platform on the face of the planet. But if anyone hears this that could have been thinking more in line with those people that were looking to tear this down, or that were looking to say that, oh, well, history is just this, then maybe I've accomplished something. Dark Gift says, I'm being facetious, but it is something that I feel the doctrine they embrace leaves out: humanity. And yes, the right does it too. More of the rule on the left and the exception on the right. I don't know, man. I've seen both people do it. I think that the only reason why the left gets so much focused is because they are the dominant force in major media right now. So it gets the most attention when they do it. We already established that one, I think. The witch trials solve nothing but killed innocent people. This is a modern witch trial. I mean, that's what cancel culture is. It's a modern witch trial. Says you're right about James Gunn and Just Some Guy too. Yeah, I mean, Just Some Guy also did a lot of kicking bees nests with his prominent audience. I do think that his audience kind of went too hard at getting back at him. But I will say that a lot of the things he was saying at that point in time came from what it felt like an uninformed position, because I went and I read the legislation that they were all talking about, and it felt like Just Some Guy was kind of regurgitating major media talking points without actually looking at what the bill specifically said. And while there were problems with that bill, the problem wasn't what was being put out, wasn't being what was focused on. They were trying to make it something that it wasn't, when there was a genuine problem with that legislation. But I'm not going to go into that. That's like that. You could do a whole video on that. Michael Breyer says to take the responsibility of power to make sure that it doesn't happen to another kid. Yeah, absolutely. Hojo says, okay, I must have missed the alert. Hail chat. Hail Hojo. Thanks so much for joining up. You're totally right. I wish Dark Gift would confess to what he's done. Everyone's saying hello. We meet again, Hojo. Just an FYI, Dark Gift says, just an FYI, I'm an OG 90s liberal. Still consider myself a liberal. I've seen the shift. And like, this is a whole thing. Like, when it comes down to politics and what have you, I don't really like go into what my own personal beliefs are, because I'm here to make comics, and like these impromptu rant videos are more to talk about things that I feel like I can come at from an apolitical angle. History doesn't have to be political. You can talk about it and showcase both, come at it from a bipartisan approach. But like, for me personally, I tend to be more in the middle, swinging a little bit more towards left on certain issues. But like, I mean, it doesn't really matter who I vote for, who anyone votes for, what they believe. It doesn't really matter so long as they aren't trying to harm anybody, and so long as, you know, they like they're good with me believing what I'm believing. I don't care. Hojo says, yes, Frog G, it would appear so. I keep seeing these webbed footprints everywhere today. Absolutely. Frog G is, I'm convinced that like Frog G has like 6 streams playing across like a bunch of monitors. And like he has a superpower where he's able to like focus on all at the same time without being confused. And so he's just dropping links in. So then again, I could be biasly disenfranchised. Potentially. Tickle the algorithm, smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. Yeah, thanks. Definitely do all of that. If you know anyone that you think might enjoy the content that I do here, I definitely wouldn't mind being passed around a bit. We have Aardvark in the chat saying that this is a pro frog chat. Every chat is a pro frog chat. Hojo saying doing the right thing and respecting people shouldn't be a left or right issue. History and facts aren't written blue. Yes, absolutely. 100%. This right here. Because it doesn't matter in 1,000 years, the current political parties aren't going to be what they are now. They aren't like it. These things aren't timeless. They shift. Everything shifts over time. And so in 100 and 1,000 years from now, when people look back at how we were today, it doesn't really matter about what side of the political spectrum you're on. What matters is looking at the dynamic between the two and really coming to understand what we were as a community and as a society. He says, consider that bell jingle. Thank you so much. We got B-Rose coming in. We're heading towards the end of this stream. Thanks so much for coming in, B-Rose. Hojo says, and congrats on 10K, Odin. Thanks so much. To reiterate, we have ended the in demand on SPQR, but it is still live and accepting. It's still live and accepting backing. And I'm just going to keep. I was initially just going to have the Father's Day sale be for Father's Day, but we're just going to keep this up till we close out. So if you are a fan of original art, the Dean's last 2 original art pages from the Embrace one, along with the last 2 first prints of the main cover, are available for 33% off of what we had them initially. So they were initially $300. They're now $200. So make sure you hit those up. Those funds go immediately into production of the Embrace 2. So you are helping us get along there. Since we surpassed 10K, we will be doing the Embrace 2 preview ashcan. It will probably come a little bit later than the rest of the stuff. It'll all just depend on how quickly it takes for those to get done versus how quickly it takes for me to get things like the plushies and everything as they're coming from China and what have you. And then we've got so everyone's saying hey, hello to B-Rose, and Genuine Comics saying, yeah, congrats, Odin. Thanks so much, guys. It's been such a blast doing that campaign, and we have a lot of exciting stuff planned for down the line, and we're just really trying to keep things going, keep things moving, and I appreciate everyone's support that has come out to support us so far. You guys are fantastic. That being said, we are running in on the 1 hour mark. So I'm gonna close this out here. As I'm Michael Odin. I am the creator and founder of Nine Realms Publishing. You can find me on Twitter at ElysianFields_0, and you can sign up for the Embrace 2. I don't think it's in the description yet, but I'll make sure that it is. If not, Frog G's been putting it up in the live chat. make sure that you're signed up for that. If you haven't already heard from the various live streams right now, we have 2 confirmed major covers. We've got one from Marini from Fiendish, and then confirmed on Friday, Michael Bancroft is doing his first ever variant cover for the Embrace 2. And there will be a ginger root hand in there, per my request, hidden like a Where's Waldo game. So make sure that you're signed up for the pre-launch so that you can get updates and so that you know when we launch. And of course, to get the pre-launch exclusive Xevious Holofoil trading card. And if you haven't already backed SPQR and you're looking for a reason to, as I said, we have our Father's Day sale for the Embrace art from the first book that's still going. And yeah, thanks so much and have a good day, everybody.